Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. Things are happening. The Sox, we got a little drama. What's going on in the infield? Vladito, is he going to stay in Toronto? Not right now. And more signings. Justin Turner. John Means.
Base hit the other way. The Twins are implementing situational hitting into their batting practice rounds. We're back to 2004.
Hello and welcome to Talkin' Baseball. I promise you we won't dive into that topic. Jake Storielli, Trevor, Plouffe, Rob Scirocco producing. Welcome back to Talkin' Baseball. February 19th. If you hear a little something in me and Trev's voice, we're coming off a warehouse week that we're battling. But it's also nice to sit down, talk some ball, and be like, wow, little over a month. We're going to be playing games that matter. Actually, I think a month till the Korea series. So
yeah, there's some stuff coming up quickly.
Sheesh. And if you want to go, well, maybe I think you get tickets there. You get tickets to anything on SeatGeek. With the MLB season coming up, basketball is rolling. Hockey is heating up, ironically. Or if you're trying to not get your sports fix, go see a concert. Kendrick Lamar, The Weeknd. Sure. And with our partners at SeatGeek, you can now get 10% off any tickets with code TALKIN2025. TALKIN2025 at SeatGeek, the best ticketing app in the world, over 28 million downloads. Go to spring training, go to whatever you want to see. It's so easy to use, I can use it. TALKIN2025, 10% off any tickets at SeatGeek. Coach, what's going on the West Coast?
I'm battling right now, Coach. I got a little bit of an internet, I don't know what you'd call it, a little back and forth with the constituents there. Last night, our social team on Talking Baseball and John Boy Media put out a clip of this guy, a pitcher from Georgia. He looked back at the second baseman, did some tongue out stuff, ends up striking the guy out to end the game, does some more antics. So I got on a little bit. Okay, we're going to show the video here. This is what's going on. So he looks back, little tongue out.
Big Georgia Kennesaw State game.
Okay, and then he throws that pitch, strikes him out,
Right.
Tosses the glove. Don't know what that means. He has a watch on, which is strange to me. So a lot of weird things. I'm not the biggest college baseball guy. So all I put on social media was, that's funny and all, but I would have taken that pitch 450 to left center. That thing was, that's, to quote Torrey Hunter, that was a gift from the gods. That was a looper.
Right.
Up there. That's all I said. If this guy controlled the second base runner, I can surely put that out there. But then people started telling me, well, there's been a lot of things that kind of hurt a little bit. They said, bro, you do sausage races now.
Yeah.
You can't even hit a blitz ball.
Yeah.
The furthest homer you ever hit was 436. So they've been coming at me. I've been going back and forth a little bit. And I don't like to get in internet battles, man, but I'm grinding through this sickness, and I got to go through and just tell people, yeah, back in my day, not right now. I would not hit that 450 right now, obviously. So that's where I'm at, dude. Tough morning for me. I am excited to talk some ball because I do think we have some good topics. But I was just getting a little 1,000 paper cuts. You know what I mean? Sometimes that hurts worse.
I sure do, and I think I might get back to bullying on social media. I might be on the other side of the fence. Because, I don't know. At Twitter/X went through a lot of changes.
Oh, that's tough. It's tough to do that.
And now I shouldn't say I'm going to be bullying on the internet because that's not right. There's kids that, someone had a very nice tweet to us this morning. They were like, proud dad moment. My son was listening to talk baseball. Don't bully online. I'm gonna come out and say that. I've been mixing it up on Twitter more. I guess I did bully Chris Rose this morning. Because he called himself a mouth. He called himself a mouth player. I can't let that go. I have an obligation to the people to not let that slide. I've been mixing it up more, and hey, I'm actually going to dig myself a deeper hole here. I saw a clip of your guy, Aaron Rodgers, who was saying if someone's commenting or giving you advice or critiquing you, but it's not someone you care about, then don't care. And I was like, that's kind of the root of that's actually kind of nice, especially for interacting online. If you said something to me, Trev, and you were like, Jake, you gotta stop commenting stuff like that. Jake, you can't take that guy 450. I'd be like, oh yeah, that's my guy Trev. If Horn Dog 420 comments that,
that's my burner.
I also respect it. No. So okay, a couple life lessons off the top. And Trev, I'm excited. I think I want to start with life lessons from the Boston Red Sox infield right now.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Because I think it's already had a life cycle of like 10 out of 10 spring training chaos to, okay, it's the situation that everyone talked through and thought it landed on. But Rafael Devers had a press conference and came out and said, I'm a third baseman, and, dropped a very sharp no in the middle of his interview to like DHing. Cora came out and said that Devers got that contract from Heim, so I don't care what he was promised at third base. And it was like, okay, Red Sox, yeah, let's put a little fuel on the fire. I do think, and then in the middle, like the tipping point was Casas gave him an interview that was like, Devers is my third baseman, which I think if you watch the interview is, I don't know, he was just kind of backing his guy. Like it wasn't shots fired at Bregman. And then I think Bregman's iced the whole thing over. So that's the view from 40,000 feet. What do you got, Trev?
I gave a big take on baseball today about this. But I've got to think about it, I guess, a little bit more. So it's very intriguing to me, this situation, because you do have a veteran player in Rafael Devers who did sign to play third base. But usually my take on all this is once you sign that deal, all bets are off. Like the team, Rafael Devers he can't decide where he plays. That's the truth. Okay, if he wants to sit out games, then he won't get paid. They'll put him on the restricted list and he won't get paid. He's going to play where they put him. Now, I don't think necessarily the Red Sox handled this. I'm talking about like front office, core. I don't think they handled it perfectly, although it was a difficult situation to handle. I mean, they didn't know they were going to get Bregman. They've been trying to get Arenado. And so I think Devers all offseason probably should have got himself mentally ready for something like this. I mean, it had been talked about for 4 months. They were trying to bring a third baseman in. So I'm trying to put myself in that clubhouse. Like, how would I feel? Obviously, Rafi's been there. He's in the clubhouse. He knows all these guys. So he's going to get the benefit of the doubt there already. But also, Alex Bregman's a pretty dang respected player within the game. And you do know, as a player in that clubhouse, that the best lineup probably doesn't have Devers at third base. It has Alex Bregman at third base. So it's very interesting. I don't know exactly where they go from here. Cora's line about, well, that leadership is gone. They're in St. Louis. Aren't you a leader too? Right. Like, I don't understand all these guys, dude. Like, you don't need to say shit like that to the press. Like, that does no good. It does no good. A manager needs to take the high road 99 times out of 100. Every once in a while, the guy can let one loose. I don't think this is a situation where he didn't let one loose. Like, just take him behind closed doors. How did they not? Let me ask you this. Right. I think this is also one of my biggest takeaways is, how do they not get together before these interviews happen and like formulate a plan? That's usually what happens. They knew Devers was going to talk to the media. They knew Cora was going to talk to the media. Like they know the media is there to ask these questions. This is juicy for journalists. Juicy. Oh, they should have got on the same page. And I guess they haven't. I don't know whose fault that is. That could be Devers not wanting to talk. It could be them saying, well, we got spring training to worry about and there's 40 other people in here and things just kind of got in the way. But it's a little messy. But the facts are that Devers is going to play where they tell him to play. There's no alternative to that. You can't just say, nah, I'm not going to play. You can't do that. You're making $31 million a year for the next 10 years or whatever it was. That was his deal. Once you get that money, you kind of just got to be a guy that says, I'll do whatever it takes to win. Like, that's just the mindset that you have to have. Even maybe you don't feel that way, Jake. Maybe you're like pissed. Maybe he's pissed.
Right.
Sure. But you have to be out in the media saying, I'll do whatever it takes for this team to win. Behind closed doors, if you want to go into Cora's office and don't punch a wall, but if you want to be mad and say, fuck, man, like I want to play third base. That's where I play. You told me I was going to play. That's where to have this discussion. Not like through the media, not to have two jabronis like you and I talking about it.
Right. Two proud third basemen in our own right, fighting for territory.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's for for Rafi, you wonder what is the true motivation? Is it end of the day? Is it like getting into the Hall of Fame? Because it's really hard to get into the Hall of Fame as a DH. But there was one guy who was unanimous first ballot as a DH in Boston that, like, okay, I guess from the fan perspective, that might be more in our head than Rafi's. The other thing that doesn't get thrown out there a lot, and I feel like I'm a DH truthist, is that being a DH is hard. You get 4 at-bats in between innings, you're just chilling. Like, I know we laugh. Like, if you're good at it, it's kind of the coolest job you can have because it's like, all right, hey, you hit a double and scored. Why don't you go chill out for an hour and we'll see you next time? For a lot of players, it's really difficult to, okay, round it out to short. My next at-bat's in an hour against a different pitcher, and he just got the first call was off the plate from the umpire. And here I am 0-1. Like, being a DH is hard, and that's where I've come. Like, I super value Jock Peterson, who I think he's shown he can DH. JD is now getting up there in age, but guys that can DH, I think that is part of a skill set that I guess I would love to know Devers' full side of it. But like you said, with that contract, and if you're trying to win, you kind of got to look at the pieces out there. And I do think when that lineup gets written, and if Devers is at DH, I don't think he's going to say anything, or he might just say, like, I love playing third base, but let's win some ball games. So I don't know. It's a little tricksy, and Bregman's played everything right. I think Rob has a Bregman interview from yesterday because all that got brought up.
Great. We've been having a lot of fun. We've been taking ground balls back here, doing our work together, talking about winning, talking about baseball, talking about excited for the season. Last night we all got together, had dinner. It was great.
None of this falls on that guy. He didn't do anything.
That was 6-foot Alex Bregman talking about how everything's cool.
God, I guess I have been a bully lately, haven't I?
A little bit. Just a little bit.
I need to stop. I was getting ready for the warehouse. That's why.
Yeah, that's true.
Where I have to tell people in the stands, I don't really feel this way. Yes, Devers and DH. DH it's not easy. It takes a certain type of player. You have to be very mentally strong to be a DH throughout a season. It's less wear and tear on your body, but I think mentally it's probably more difficult because you don't have that time to focus on something else. I think it's really good for guys to be able to separate offense from defense because, and that in itself is hard. But if you're able to do that, it just helps out. So I get that. I'd say the same thing about pinch hitters. I think pinch hitting might be even tougher than being a DH. Or a platoon guy is very difficult because you're just not playing every day. So the timing is off. But Devers as a DH, 87 plate appearances, 284, 322, 506 for an 828 OPS. As a third baseman, 279, 346, 511 for an 856. So better as a third baseman, but it's very small sample size as a DH. I think he can do it. I think this all blows over, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be that big of a deal. I think if you're a Red Sox fan, you have to be stoked. You shouldn't care about any of this. You should be stoked that you just have so many options and good players that you don't know what to do with them. That is what's happening here. At the core of this, they have too many good players. They don't know what to do. Bregman at third means Von Grissom or is it Keaton Mitchell? I don't have it up in front of me.
The prospect that they were talking about?
Yeah.
I don't.
I'm not a big prospect guy, but
I'm glad to have you in the game.
Yeah, I'm in the one of their big prospects. I don't want to mess that up because I feel
Tristan Campbell.
Tristan Campbell. Who's Keaton Mitchell? Is he a receiver?
Keaton Mitchell's a running back on the Ravens. He showed a couple flashes, and then he had a bad injury.
Campbell. I'm sick, people. I got no sheet in front of me, okay? I'm not a prospect. They have Tristan Campbell ready to play second base. And then in the outfield, they have a gluttonous amount of outfielders. I mean, you can go Duran, Abreu, Rafaela. You talk about Roman Anthony coming up. You have Casas and Yoshida. Like, they just have so many good players that's what's causing this problem. Keaton Mitchell's not on the Red Sox, people.
Not yet.
He's not yet. You and him might do an open trial. But that is the core of this problem. So I think that's why I don't really care about all this. I think it will get sorted out. Don't think they handled it the best way possible, but who really cares? Like this is going to be water under the bridge, in my opinion, before the season even starts.
Yeah, I think as a Yankee fan, their PR guy, Jason Zillow, the Godfather, he's reached out to us a few times. Always good. Always good and fair to us. But he's like one of the most powerful people in the Yankees that it's funny, especially spring training. The Yanks come in, and you guys and your teams, well, you could be on both ends of the spectrum. I guess let us know what you hear. But it was funny. Austin Wells is just, he's not taking live at bats yet. And he said, I'm just not ready yet. And everyone was like, okay, I don't know, 20, 25, 26-year-old catcher. What's that mean? Aaron Boone also just said he's just not ready yet. So it's just a funny thing. Like, okay, the team clearly sat down with the PR crew and was like, here's what we're saying. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. The Red Sox, their PR guy, I don't know. Maybe it's just like Cora ends anything because he kind of is the Don over there. But it was funny to get all these opinions. At the same time, me and Jimmy, like this was a conversation in the office yesterday. We were like, this is great. Like this is baseball fodder. And like, I think PR trying to get in the way of these conversations, depending where all this lands, like this is the good stuff. Yes. Like this is good. Like
for it's good for people who like drama entertainment, I guess. I don't think it's good for like their clubhouse necessarily.
I guess that's the next steps become what make it interesting. And I do think there's just spring training. This is one of the first things we could grab onto that it became a fun conversation. Well, yeah, I like where you landed, Trev. This is a great Red Sox problem.
Didn't even mention my guy, Marcelo Meyer.
Right.
They just have a lot of bodies ready to contribute at the major league level, like, quality players. So be stoked if you're a Red Sox fan. I have also been bullying Yankee fans because I said to the Yankees, are the Diamondbacks better than the Yankees? And oh man, our socials, I forget how much of our socials are Yankee guys.
Right.
Like not our followers. They are just ripping me to shreds.
Tough social media
I can't even open
day.
my X up. I can't open my X up.
Tough social media day for you, man.
We're not going to get into that right now.
Let's not get into that.
But I believe that.
Trev,
I don't think it's
you know what hits Yankee fans in the court? Hit them with rings. I mean, well, I guess the Diamondbacks won the National League, so they didn't win. But
they didn't.
And the Yankees went last year. Let's not talk about that.
Okay.
Let's not talk about that. I do want to talk about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. because that, although this is AL East now, it might not be AL East as the season rolls on. And all our Vladdy talk is brought to you by Hims. He is him. These Hims are more so if life's getting stressful on you and you got some worry about what you're doing in the bedroom. Hims provides access to treatments that can help you stay hard and last longer. Boom! 5 booms, giving you the boost of confidence so you can be ready whenever the mood strikes. The process is 100% online, so there's no need for uncomfortable doctor's visits. Start your free online visit today at hims.com/talkin. That's hims.com/talkin for your personalized ED treatment options. Hims, they're changing the men's healthcare game. The products mentioned are chewable, compounded products which are not approved by or verified for safety and effectiveness by the FDA. Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Prices vary based on product and subscription plan. Now, Trev, segue and a little promo. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Had a deadline to reach an extension agreement. That was yesterday, and they have not agreed to an extension. So I had your guy, Jared Carabas, on Wake and Jake yesterday, which was crazy timing, or 2 days ago, because the Devers stuff just started up. Like, I didn't realize that teams think Vladdy's in play now. Like, Jared was on I wonder if they're going to shop Casas in a package for Vladdy. And I was like, whoa, Red Sox fans, we got enough. Like, this team's good. I didn't know they were there. That I wonder if other teams are wondering about the Vladdy game too. But, Trev, the biggest thing is there is no deal. And it seems like Vladimir Guerrero Jr. wants to hit free agency. And after what he saw Juan Soto do, I don't blame him.
Yeah, it's interesting because my thought on this was if you're the Blue Jays, run it until the All-Star break and see where you're at. Then I don't think the haul is crazy different from trading him now at the beginning of the season to trading him at the deadline when teams kind of know where they're at. So they're more willing to give up pieces because they're close. This is a deadline. Change that, like your psyche. If you're the front office, like, is there something in that where it's like, okay, well, this deadline came past, and now we know it's not going to happen, or at least he said it's not going to happen during the season. I always kind of take that with a grain of salt. Like, he says they have their numbers, I have my numbers. If the Blue Jays came to him with his number or something close to it, I bet he would sign. So, like, I don't think it's like a dead deal, but psyche wise, if you're saying, wow, well, I guess we can't talk to this guy about it at all. Maybe we shop him earlier than we thought. But I don't think that's going to be the case unless they get blown away by a package, which we really haven't seen for like 1 year guys recently. I don't think it's really. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe I'm missing one. But my thought is they're going to keep both him and Bichette until close to the trade deadline, and then kind of evaluate where they're at. If they end up going the entire season and they feel like they're in it and they want to make the playoffs and do all those things, they offer the comp pick and they move on. I do not see them getting traded early on in the season, though.
No, this Blue Jays team, man, they've tried and they've been trying and they've added pieces around Vladdy to give themselves a chance to have a shot this summer. That I guess I, per usual, would love to know what Vladdy's asking for, because I wouldn't be surprised if he was asking for Soto-esque money.
He's about to turn 26.
Right.
He's got to be looking for a 10+ year deal, right?
Yes.
Let's just call it 10 round numbers for our math. Do you think he's at like 10 years, 550 to 6 with some deferment, like some deferred payments? Is that where he's at?
Gotta have the deferment.
50 a year is a lot, Pop.
It's a lot of cake for a guy that last year was kind of viewed as like a prove it year, and he proved it in a big way.
He did. I called him out a little bit. I said, is he just a good player? And did we put too much emphasis on the 2021 season? But then he came out 2024, second half, after May, I think it was, just went absolutely bonkers. His career numbers are great, man. 363 on base, 500 slug, 863 OPS, 137 OPS plus. We don't just find guys like that.
He plays every day.
Yeah, he posts.
He plays every day, and 940 OPS had him in rare air last year. So I don't know. That's always one of the funny things, that between the agent and the player, how do you view yourself? Like, does Vladimir Guerrero Jr. view him as Juan Soto? Like, Soto defensively, how long is he going to stick it right field?
You can't. I don't think you can compare these two.
I don't think so either. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that's not how Vladito views himself. That doesn't mean that's how his agent views himself.
Yeah, if he's like, hey, Soto got 800 mil, give me 6. What's 6 into 8? 2, 3/4.
3/4.
Am I 75% of the player that Juan Soto is?
Think about that.
Oh, I should be an agent.
A guy who, Vladdy, even as he ages, hopefully should be able to stick around in first base and not potentially clog that DH spot till later. It's interesting. I have no idea the scope that the players get to view themselves in. And, dude, I'll tell you what, if Vladdy runs last year back, he's going to have quite an argument.
I got to get some stats up now. 863 OPS career.
Right.
I want to go. Maybe Rob, maybe you take care of this for us because
Okay.
I don't want to waste this time
Trev's
doing
math
it.
guy.
Let's go since 2019. He played 123 games. Let's go from 2019 through last year. Give me the players that have 863 OPS or higher. Very curious about that. Then you can do it on Fangraphs and kind of toggle and do all those things.
Well, let me also before we get your numbers. If you take out Vlad's first 2 years, which is 2019 and 2020, he was age 20 and age 21, and that 2020 season was the COVID year. He's had an 887 OPS. Like I know last year he needed, but he did it. So for the Blue Jays, I guess, depending what Vlad's asking price was or is, how close did they get? And I guess let's say Vlad does run it back again. So Vlad has a 940 OPS. He balls out. He plays every game. He's 26 years old. Vlad is worth 600 million, 700, like depending how you do the contract and stuff like that. He's in Soto's stratosphere.
I just don't know, Jake. I mean, I'm not trying to hate on this guy, but how many contracts have gotten over 500? It's right. Shohei and Soto. That's it.
Right, but I guess for me, the age thing is always massive. Like
age thing is massive. They're all from the same class, by the way. How about that? Soto, Tatis, and Vladdy, same international class.
Not bad. That for me, I guess, if you're the Blue Jays, if he runs it back and he's already asking for that money, cool. If he does a 2023 and he has a 116 OPS plus, if you're the Blue Jays, well, that does change the math equation. So I don't know. If I'm a Blue Jays fan, the biggest thing I'm taking away, that I know this is just a quote and he's saying the right thing. He said he wants to stay in Toronto forever. So if Toronto comes to the table with the biggest contract this offseason, that's going to be interesting. Because Toronto fans have been tested, bro. Shohei, a lot of free agents. Oh, Toronto's in the mix and they're toe-to-toe. They've lost a lot of battles. If they were to lose a Vladdy battle after these quotes, then you really have to change your just mindset.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like we went over this. We did a TPP on the Blue Jays, and we went over this. Like, they haven't not spent. They haven't not gone after guys. They've been aggressive. I mean, yeah, did they land second fiddle a couple different times? Sure, but I think the fact that they have continuously went out through free agency and tried to improve this team, I mean, they got it better than a lot of teams right now. Toronto. I understand you want him back, and he is, obviously, the franchise player on that team. I guess I'm just curious. I look at these numbers, and again, I've been going through internet trolling lately, so I'm not trying to hate at all. We got two outlier years. We got 2021 when he one-dotted it, which was awesome. Last year through May was kind of looking the same. Then he went gangbusters. So he's had a couple crazy years, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 years of good baseball player.
Right.
I know he's young. You have to take that into account. Like, is he entering his prime now? I feel like they always move the prime closer to 20 every single year.
Right.
If I'm a guy looking to sign him long term, I think I have to look at that track record and like the consistency and be like, okay. And I do think that there are some, some peripheral numbers that, kind of, he was better than, his 788 OPS or his 818 OPS. Like, he was hitting the ball really hard. Like, things were good. They just didn't, the launch angle wasn't there. I think he was hitting the ball on the ground a little bit too much. So that's, you could change that and he has the success. But I don't know. I think that I don't think he's on Soto's level. Like, is that bad to say? I think the numbers don't support that whatsoever.
I think it's fair to say he needed last season to have this conversation. Yeah. Next season is going to dude, if he runs it back, then he kind of is.
Dude, Soto has a career like 950 OPS, 953, 160 OPS plus. He's on a different tier. But I get what you're saying. I do think that Vladdy is a premier hitter in the game, especially if he goes out and does it again this year. Look, just what gets me going, Jake. Look at the walks to strikeouts last year. That gets me going.
Right.
Do you have the stats up? 72 walks, 96 strikeouts for a slugger guy, a 30 and 100 guy. That gets me going. That tells me maybe he is getting better as a hitter. Maybe he is about to just bash and go off for the next 5 years. It's curious. I'm very curious to see what happens to him in the offseason. The suitors are not going to be plentiful, right? How many teams can go after a guy like Vladdy? 5?
Yeah, I mean not a ton, but they're the teams.
I feel like the Dodgers can't. Like, that's crazy. I like take them even out. I feel like it's the Yankees.
Never take the Dodgers out.
I know I should. I feel like I should though. Mets, Yankees, Toronto,
Boston.
I don't like. Is Philly gonna get into that? I don't think so. I feel like they got a guy at first base they kind of like. He's under contract for a long time. I'm just saying it's gonna be interesting. I don't know.
Rob, what stats have you drilled up?
Since 2021, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has an 887 OPS. That's 9th on the list.
Okay.
Do you guys want to see if you can name the top 8?
Oh, yeah.
I have the list in front of me, so I'll bow out.
Okay, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge is 1 with a 1.56. Soto's 4 with a 9.43.
Sheesh, this is gonna be pretty tough, actually. Is Shohei on there?
Shohei's 2nd with a 9.84.
Gosh.
Right.
Who else is just a gangster like that? It's Mike Trout might be on. Is it? Yeah. Mike Trout's on
since 2021. No.
Oh, you might have a game limit up. I did a similar search without a game limit, and it has Trout 4th, but he's
missed a lot. Yeah,
he's missed a lot.
What is the number we're looking? 880 or above 880? Fernando Tatis Jr. Did he get the cut?
I'm sorry.
Fernando Tatis Jr. I know he had.
Oh
no. Name him for me.
All right, you got Aaron Judge, Ohtani, Yordan,
Soto,
Yordan. Harper, Freeman, Betts, and Kyle Tucker.
So you're in good company. You're in really good
So
company.
if he does it again, Trev.
That's kind of, you did take out 2 years that I asked for. But yeah, no, I get it. You were talking about 22 and above. I'll give it to him. 20 and 21 is crazy to be a big leaguer anyway. So
right. And he was a child. But yeah, I like most guys.
500. I'll give him 500.
Okay.
5/8.
I mean, you and I were saying, you and I at the hotel bar, whatever. We were talking about Vladdy, and I was kind of giving you my Toronto speech, like, sign this guy. And but he's going to hit free agency because he's earned that right. He's Vladdy's son. Look what Cohen just threw out to Soto, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, if they threw 500 at Vladdy, I don't know if he says no. You made me tilt my head, but again, I have no idea what Vladdy wants.
I know. When he says, I have my numbers and they have their numbers, gosh, I want to know what they are. Maybe it'll come out eventually. Carlos Baerga, where you at, bro? Just dig a little bit for us, okay?
And Trev, guys, I'm sorry, but this is a really good example, and I used to hate when Simmons and Russillo would do this because they're Boston guys, but it's where you get your data from. The Yankees in the Aaron Judge contract year, right before the season, said we offered him, I think it was $227 million or something like that. And they said it so confidently. How could a guy turn down this money? He went out and he broke the home run record, and he got a lot more money.
What's his contract?
Where'd he land? 360 or 340?
360?
Not bad, huh?
It ain't 500.
8 for 230.
Okay, how did you need to know that?
That's what they offered before the season.
Oh, okay. 8 for
Yes.
230, and then he ended up getting 10 for 360.
What's 10 times 40? 40 mil a year. You'd think that would be 400 if I know my numbers well.
I was doing fractional work with Teddy last night. That's why my fractions are on point today.
Wow, dude. That stuff is gnarly. Trev, let's wrap it up with a little bit of show info. And Justin Turner signed a real contract. John Means and the Guardians have their end-of-season pitching plan again. And my guy Domo got extended for the Snakes. It's all brought to you by DraftKings. And announced for the show, we're going to start doing the King of the Week. The King of this week might have been Bregman getting that contract and stirring up the controversy. But every week, DraftKings is going to bring our Kings of the Week to this baseball season. Who's done it big, who's going to do it big. And you can do it big at the DraftKings Sportsbook with the NBA season rolling. It's the place for NBA player props. And right now, all new customers who bet $5 will get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you use code Talkin. Monster Slams, dishing the rock, Trev's cleaning the glass. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use code Talkin. Bet just $5 on any wager. Get $150 in bonus bets instantly. That's code Talkin only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Trev, which one of these three is the juiciest for you between Perdomo extension, Turner, and John Means?
I like the Perdomo extension a lot. I really do. Justin Turner's my guy. He's got into that category of Jock Peterson, David Robertson, and Justin Turner now. And I think there's a couple other guys who I have in that tier where you just sign them and they're going to give you something. Whether it's veteran experience, whether it's a month or two of really good baseball, like these guys can still really do it. So I actually really like Justin Turner on the bench and kind of, I'm curious to see how they do the playing time there. But the Perdomo extension signals to me something about the DBacks. That's kind of what sparked this entire "are they better than the Yankees" conversation. They have a good core of players locked up now. They're going to be competitive and I use that term, kind of loosely. Like they're going to be a very good team for quite some time. After this year, they do lose some starting pitching. But obviously they got Corbin Burns locked up. I'm hoping they are able to keep, one of Zach Gallen or Merrill Kelly. Like they need to do that. But this team is kind of stacked, Jake. And like Perdomo isn't, he's a kind of like a glove first type of player, old school, like bat to ball skills, doesn't strike out, walks, like puts together a good at bat. He's like a good baseball player. Fundamentally sound. You want the ball hit to him. He's going to be able to bunt. He's going to be able to move a runner. All these things he can do very well. And, people are saying $40 million for a guy like that. Like $11 million a year to be able to stabilize your middle infield and have a guy that can kind of wreak havoc or play the game of baseball, which is kind of, I don't want to sound like a boomer, but it's kind of a lost art. That's worth it to me. I actually really like this signing. Move Jordan Lawler over to third base as Eugenio's done after this year. Like then they have Cattell at second. Like this is awesome.
Yeah, things that don't matter, they used to matter. He is beloved, man. That city loves him. He's at NBA games. He's at WNBA games. He's everywhere. If they're doing fan engagement stuff, he's a part of it. He's 25 years old. What if he gets a little better? The contract is basically low risk. He's got one of the best swing decision rates. I think he's like third at not chasing pitches outside of the zone. And yeah, man, if you've got a switch hitting shortstop who can get on base at the past 2 years combined, he's sitting around 350, 349 as your 9-hole hitter.
Yes.
And that's what Mike Hazen came out in the press conference and said the two guys that should be happiest about this deal are Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte.
Get on base.
All Perdomo does is get on and flip the lineup. So yeah, the homer numbers probably ain't going to be there. Maybe they will. Maybe he's 25 and finds something in his swing.
He's 6'2", 200, bro. Like this guy, maybe send me down there, Jake. Let me work with this guy.
Well,
let me show him that. It's all in the back hip. Get it through.
I say this in the nicest way. The Diamondbacks might not want that from you. He's led baseball in 22 and 23 in sacrifice hits, which there's a little bit of a skill set to that. And
a little bit. That's a real skill that you have to practice that not many do. What did I just last year? I had a viral clip because I was like, nobody can defend the bunt.
Right.
Did you watch the playoffs? I know you did.
I did. Sure did.
Putting pressure on a defense still works in baseball.
Boy. Yeah. I mean, if he can be a league average bat, which he has been the past 2 years, for him to lock into that shortstop position. And hey, maybe it is I'm interested to see how the Jordan Lawler stuff goes. And, they had a couple other prospect, Blaze Alexander, like, guess what? Now shortstop's off the table. Like, just being straight up with you guys. There's going to be other spots to be had. We paid that guy to stay there. And, Trev, you like this. You want to be an MLB GM. It's 2018. The Snakes are on the horn, looking to add a nice veteran outfield bat by the name of John Jay.
Okay.
The Royals asked for some 18-year-old shortstop, Geraldo Perdomo. And shout out to Amiel Sade, probably not saying that right. Mike Hayes' assistant slammed the table and said, we can't move that guy. And
that guy.
And now he's going to be their starting shortstop for like 6 years. Did I say starting shortstop?
You did.
Speaking
shout
of
out John Jay and the Royals. Okay.
Shout out.
Now he's a skater.
Trev, the other thing for me is Justin Turner to the Cubs. The Cubs were supposedly in the Bregman mix. I was wondering if they were going to be in the Arenado mix, or is that just too sinful in the Cubs-Cardinals rivalry to do something like that? That Justin Turner signs, and I'm like, great. Like, okay, here's our classic Mariner shrapnel. So he hit up there, so he's not coming back. Speaking about a guy that's going to be loved in Chicago, I was a little shocked, and not to be rude to Justin Turner, because I think it is right. I didn't realize it was going to be for $6 million. Like, that's a number that you're paying a guy to play, Trev.
I think it's just a good insurance piece, depth piece. I don't know how much third base he's going to play. I don't think he played much at all last year, primarily first base and DH. But it's good insurance. I mean, who wouldn't want Justin Turner on their bench spelling guys from time to time? I think his presence alone is worth $6 million, and he's still got in the tank, Jake.
Right.
He still can hit, man. He still can put together good at bats. So I think any team will be better with Justin Turner like on your bench. So the Cubs still have. I looked this number up the other day, like $40 million before they even get to the first CBT tax threshold. Like, let's go. $6 million for them, no brainer.
Yeah, I hope this goes awesome, because I think more teams need to do this. I think teams have gotten, Trev, you went on your depth rant that cracked me up, but like, that's how it's supposed to work. Like, instead of being like, oh, we got 9 spots filled, let's not bring anyone else in. No, bring in Justin Turner. So if Michael Busch is having a couple tough days, guess what? Throw JT at first. Hey, Matt Shaw's not, having some young moments at third. JT, get out there. Like, that's huge. That's huge. That I think teams have devalued that by mistake. That good for the Cubbies. I know it's not Bregman, and we'd be loving to pound the table and say, you got Breggy, let's go Cubs. This is the offseason we dreamed of. As a nice insurance policy for maybe Matt Shaw, who could be the future for 6 years, whatever. Like Justin Turner, it couldn't be better. He should be on every team.
I know. 214.5 is where they're at right now. The tax threshold set at 241 this year. So quick math, that is $26.5 million left to spend.
So much math.
Who's out there?
Not a lot, Pa.
Not a lot, Pa.
But yeah, I mean, not bad to have a guy that you can just throw in. He can hit 260, get on base at a 350 clip. He had a 114 OPS plus last year. Like,
yeah, he still got it. Although
why
I'm a little
does
mad.
He still have it, dude?
Didn't invite me to his golf tournament this year, and he invited me the year before, and I couldn't go. And I didn't get the invite.
You blew it, dude.
I blew it.
That's on you.
No, I was gone.
If you get that invite, you gotta clamps. You know?
Come on, JT.
Dude,
couple Southern California kids.
do we need to talk about his workout routine or something? Like, he's 40, still just hitting.
He's always been like that, man. Just a hitter.
God, took a little click for him, and he is just continuing to roll it. Good for him, good for the Cubs. And then John Means, if you have any final thoughts. I mean, for me, it's just interesting that the guards, it's 1 year with a club option. John Means is coming off his second Tommy John. But we saw it. The Guardians, they got a couple olds last year that were getting healthy around August that ended up pitching in the postseason for them. That this might be some new Guardians baseball of getting some insurance policies to pitch late in the season when teams are running out on guys.
Depth. I mean, I don't really have a ton on John Means, we're being honest. Yeah, depth. Rotational depth. And whenever the Guardians sign someone, you always have to be like, what? Hold on.
Right.
Especially a pitcher.
So everyone else didn't come to the table. Expect John Means to have 4 innings shutout come October. Because that's what happens. All right, a little juicy spring training mixing it up episode. Everything we mixed, please comment below. I think I said shortstop before, so that
Sharting shortstop.
Everyone maybe put your best sharting story in the comments. All right, we will be back Monday. Enjoy your weekend, and God, we are getting close to baseball, baby. Subscribe.
Jake sucks. This truly was our Jordan Flu episode.
Yeah. Battled.
I said Keaton Mitchell.
That one threw me off.
That's old school, like fantasy football, just like from the back of the brain came forward.
Crazy. Like week 15 waiver wires.
Baltimore Ravens?
He has a little juice, yeah.